Yeah, but you're cut from a different cloth than most comics. I think most comics are nervous, nebbishy. Remember that guy who walked on stage at the Strip with William Stevenson?
Yeah.
And he was going to beat the fuck out of William Stevenson, R.I.P. I think you can find this clip on YouTube, but you stepped up to the guy and pushed him off.
Maybe it's on YouTube. I don't know. Yeah, I got the guy off stage.
Was it at the Strip?
At the Strip.
This is my last time. That was my last night ever going into the comic strip.
Wow. Because of that? Or just...
Yeah.
Oh,
well, no, it wasn't. It was based off of that. Yeah, I don't think there was any cameras on that.
But your bouncer kicked in, like your old...
Well, it was more just like... I was listen when the thing was going haywire because that club. What happened was I did the first show there that night.
Maybe it's not.
Or I was doing the last two. There's definitely no video of it. There was the second two shows of the night I was doing there, closing them. And when I closed the middle show, that place had degenerated at that point. I don't know what it's like now, but it was all street team at that point, barking people in. It wasn't what I worked there in like not the golden era, but like a good time. When, like, the weekends were like Patrice and all these names of guys who were like killing it in the city. And the room's awesome.
Great room.
Great fucking room.
Yeah. It was
and I love doing it and watching it kind of just like eat shit and become like, group of like 15 Puerto Ricans who think that it's their show and they're pissed because they were lied to about and and it was always just like, I used to go up there. My fun thing I did by the end there was going up there and just finding out who's beefing in the audience because they were. Somebody doesn't like somebody at this table and they wish that bitch would shut up and just like peacemaking.
Yeah.
Funnily, you know what I mean? Like,
That's funny.
Everyone's just trying to get laid tonight. Like, don't ever. The guys are pissed because they see their girls are getting out of the mood,
right.
bickering with each other and just try to fuck with them like that. But it was out of control. And William Stevenson didn't give a fuck. Like, he was just collecting a check, collecting his cash. So he was going up there and he just like, you just let him talk all through it and whatever. And he had no control over the room on that second show. And I went up there and like, even when I was trying to like work the crowd a little bit, they were just shitty. And I got off stage and I said to Christine in the cab, I was like, I think you just saw my second to last spot for a long time.
Wow.
At the comic strip. I go, I'm not going to put in there anymore. That's a bummer.
Because it is a classic room. That's where I met you, I think.
Yeah. It's like bummer what it was.
I used to do late night there every night, man.
Wow.
Like I loved
it was so great.
And even at the end of that 2 hour, whatever, 2.5 hours, they'd still be hot sometimes,
Yeah, because people keep coming in too. It was like that kind of like rotating thing. That the cellar used to be like that.
Oh yeah.
Which was kind of fun. You know what I mean? 'Cause there was, I said I worked at the cellar at a time where like when I went on stage, sometimes there was 20 people only in the audience.
Yeah.
That changed.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy to think about.
Now they have 4 rooms and they're making another one.
Which the biggest.
Yeah,
the
right.
biggest of them. But where was I at?
Oh,
William Stevenson.
So
like, I'm never working there again.
Yeah, so when I go back for that last set, it's funny. I was going back. I just started talking about the comic strip to Christine, and I was like, maybe I'm being crazy. I go, it's like literally comic strip. It's where I met my ex-wife. My daughter wouldn't be alive. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the comic strip.
Damn.
It was the second club I ever got into in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, maybe I'm being hard on myself. And then as I'm watching the next one, William has no control over the thing. Some girl had her feet on the stage, and he did like, even like the hackneyed, like, are you in show business?
Right.
Then get your feet off the stage. Like he throws it like right away. And you're like, which is funny. And then the boyfriend's talking shit back, and Steven's like, man, shut up.
That guy was huge.
Oh, the guy.
There must be video of that because I saw the guy was giant. He was like a big blonde guy.
That's tough though out of the gate when the host calls
you might
your
be
girlfriend.
You might be confusing it with the one there is a video of. It was a Kill Tony, where the guy goes at Jeremiah Watkins, and I get him off. I push him off stage.
Oh, I don't.
There is a video of that.
I swear it was at the strip.
I remember.
William was
I remember
in
someone. It must have been a pic or something.
Must have been a pic because I saw
Maybe.
you like getting between them.
But there was a.
The guy was
remember,
big.
I remember this a little.
So the guy jumps up. Yeah, this is Jeremiah.
That's a different story, Matt.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not.
This guy's on mushrooms and out of his tree, and he tries to go with Jeremiah.
Wow, the nicest guy in comedy.
But what I want to know what happens on this late show. How did it go down?
So when so William's telling the guy, and the guy starts jawing at Williams, whatever, and then the guy gets on stage, and I'm like, nice, because the heyday of the strip, like my mind was like, I'm still friends with Gills, one of my close friends who was a bouncer there forever. Omar now went on to become a Long Island police officer, but these guys were like good bouncers, and good in the sense like they weren't like a talk shit and rough you up. They were get you outside guys.
Yeah,
they were like, let's just get you outside, and then all right, bye.
Right.
Sure, I'll fight. We'll fight you. Let's go, tough guy. We'll get outside, and they get outside and close the door, and like we'll see you later. There was no bouncers. When I came in that night, actually, they were laughing. They said they were going to kick somebody out, but they decided not to which I hate this. We figured we'll let you handle them.
Yes, of
because
course.
you talk to the crowd and stuff. But they took the manager, Dan's hat off, his fedora hat, and started doing like keep away from him with
Oh,
it.
my God.
As soon as they walked in, and they said they didn't kick them out for that.
Jesus.
Fucking wild.
By the way, I do crowd work sometimes. I'm not a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Right.
So, I realized when the guy gets up there, I'm like, oh, this guy's about to get fucking removed.
Yeah.
Violently off stage. And then I'm like, oh shit, there's no bouncers here anymore. So I was like, oh, and this guy was like in William's face. Like I don't think William saw that this guy was like, he was going to hit him. He was going to do something.
Yeah.
Young guy too.
Much younger than William for sure.
Yeah.
And like, so I got up and I just got him, pushed him off stage, and he was doing like, see outside. And I was like, yeah, I'll be out in a second. I was like, let's go, get out of here. And then I get off stage and William gets back on the microphone, and I'm like looking at William from the back of the stage going like, show's over though, dude. Like come on.
That's
like,
a wrap.
great. It's a wrap. And he goes, well, you just saw him, everybody. So how about one more time? Big J. I had to go on stage. He had me do it. I did like 5 minutes. I was like, William, dude, this energy is fucking wacky.
Yeah.
There was a melee in here just a second ago. And we got out of there. And what happened was I posted on, or William posted a thing the next day on Facebook, I think it was. And he goes, he's like, well, he goes, the comic strip. He goes, I'm not telling other comics what to do. I'm just letting you guys know that the comic strip removed me from their schedule for the rest of my booked shows because of something last night, whatever. And I wrote back, I'm like, dude, that fucking sucks. I go, well, it's not fully in solidarity to you necessarily. I respond with this. It's not fully in solidarity, but I said yesterday when I was there, I go, I think I'm laying off that place, man. I think I'm done at that place for a while. It's out of control.
Yeah.
I just wrote that on Facebook. And then Richie Tinkin,
the owner.
or a lot of people thought it was his wife, his weird wife, Jeannie, but somebody was coming on social media, it was Twitter, I think, at the time, and they're just going, and it's like, we don't want you to work there anymore anyway, and they're just coming at me, and it was like, their argument was that I defended a guy calling a woman a and they're going back and forth with that, and they go, either way, it's not that. They wrote the dumbest things.
Defended.
They wrote the dumbest things, that I didn't let William Stevenson. I'm like, I think I wrote back, I'm like, I think I saved you from a lawsuit.
Yeah, right.
I was like, that guy was going on stage to hurt William.
And we're the
no
bouncers.
One did anything. Yeah, I was like, you should be thanking me. This is fucking crazy.
Wow.
And they're like, you shouldn't defend somebody who calls a woman a... And then he said the most ridiculous claim I've ever heard. And I'll remember some of the names because Seinfeld, Ray Romano, Chris Rock, and I don't remember, but like one or two more examples. He goes, those guys never have had to use the word on or off stage. And I was like, that's a ridiculous claim to make. Even for Jerry Seinfeld, I bet it's come out of his mouth. You know what I mean? I'm like, but this is a moot point. And then on, they're shitting on me, and this is back and forth that I was almost having fun with at a point because I'm like, I guess fuck this place.
Yeah.
And then I just thought about the thing that I used to talk about all the time. This is before podcasts were everywhere.
Uh-oh.
But I used to always think it was so funny that well before it was an issue that they have Richie Tinkin, the owner, was Eddie Murphy's manager forever.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll tell you about it too.
Yeah,
if you were there.
Photos.
In his golden years, and photos and gold albums.
Yeah.
And they have 2 Eddie Murphy albums up. And I'm typing this on the thing. I go, you have 2 Eddie Murphy albums up. One with a track that says, and the second one says, revisited. And I go, now, are we worried about pissing off gay people or only?
Oh.
And then you'd see it like systematically. Their tweets they took down the entire.
No.
They took it all down, and then I just never worked there
You
again.
won.
And then Richie died.
Oh,
but that was a bummer. That's a bummer, that place. When that place would kind of like have shitty stuff happen, because that's like an emotional one for me in the sense that I said my daughter was like, my daughter's baby shower was there because all my ex-wife's friends were the staff there that worked there forever.
Wow.
I had great nights there too. I mean, I had a similar, not to your level, but I remember no security.
Yeah.
I'm on late at night. There's 7 dudes who are just heckling me nonstop, and they're big dudes, and they're like, "We're gonna fuck you up after the show." And I was like, you very well may.
Yeah.
There's 7 of you, and it's just me.
Right.
And no one's watching my back.
No one's watching my back. And then I somehow got away from them, but I complained to one of the bartenders, and he was like, it's not my job to be in there. I'm like, yeah, but someone should be here.
Somebody should be there. Yeah.
But
Steve Byrne got had to jump on stage for that one too, and the guy,
Damn.
Steve Byrne. It was funny. It was just like too inflammatory, and young Steve Byrne was a hothead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I guess grew up playing hockey, not afraid to throw down. He would jump into it for sure.
Interesting.
Which was impressive to a degree, but like how fast he would get there is also like
right.
Like, hey, stage temperament, man. You got to like.
There was a comic
Which this is not like him at all now. I mean, this is not, he's like a father and whatever.
Sure.
But we were like in our 20s still here.
Yeah.
And he was a real hothead. And at the comic strip, I was next also, and I'm watching this happen. In front of there's a table of like Puerto Rican dudes and girls who are not enjoying him. Maybe I guess I don't even know if he was doing well in the room. I think they were just being heckled or something like that. And he started talking to them like, "Hey guys, shut the fuck up." It was like not so much funny, but like, hey, it's enough.
Yeah.
And he was like, why don't you leave? Why don't you fucking leave? And he kept calling them O-Town. And then he kept calling them O. And the girls were like, fuck you blah, blah, blah. And the girls were doing most of the jawing, quite honestly. And then one of the guys, when he said something to the girl threw one of the table menus, little stand things, like just at the stage. It didn't hit him or hurt him or anything, but it's just like still the action, though, when it happens to you, you're like, yo, dude. You're very vulnerable on stage. You know what I mean? That'll get you irate that you're like, hey, I know you just lobbed something, but like you're letting me know that you're willing to throw something at the stage. Like, what's the next thing? And so, he was like, get the fuck out. And they're kicking them out and they're leaving. They're walking out. And some girl goes, you're just mad because you couldn't take, you can give it, but you can't take it or something. And Steve just goes, shut the fuck up. And you see this girl look at her guy with like a,
what are you going to do?
You better do something.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to have to answer to me like all night. And the guy just without even words, almost reluctantly in one motion, running to the stage, scoops up a chair and swings it over his head. And I go, I'm only able to go up behind Steve. The bouncer, there was a bouncer this time, Greg, who really wasn't, he was more of a bartender.
No.
That's not a bouncer.
No, not Greg, not Greg the manager.
Okay.
Greg the bartender guy, who was, he was fine. But he wasn't really a bouncer. But he goes up and gets the other guy, but it's too late. The chair had come over and split Steve's
what?
And I grabbed Steve, which, by the way, a lesson learned that I'll never do again. It was inconsequential in this point, but I did the wrong move in a fight. If you're stopping a fight and one person's only your friend, you don't grab their arms. Like, always get the other person.
No.
But the other guy was grabbed already, but I was also stopping Steve.
Yeah.
And then realizing he's pouring fucking blood.
He watched too many NBA fights.
All right. Yeah. He was bleeding so bad. And then he had to go to the hospital. And the thing was he got stitches, or not stitches, staples in his head.
Oh, my God.
And I don't know who it was, but Steve used to get mad. It was pretty funny.
That explains his memes now.
It's so funny how mad he would get because someone would just take like a rack of staples, out of the staple and like tape it to his head shut all the time. And I never did it. No one ever knows who did it, but it would just, he would come in angrily, take it down, and then somebody else would just like put it back up the next day.
I can't believe William Stevenson stole his joke. Like, look at that. Stevenson's like, oh, that's pretty good.
That club, I guess it was run way back in the day by the Westies or something like that. Or one of the owners was involved with that. But it's the club, man, it's such a history of the weird things. They used to have a porter, the overnight Asian guy named Tin. I was just so into with that place. That was working, and he was the sweetest guy. You know him for years, and you're like, Tin, and like, he knew us. He was really friendly always. And then you find out one day, it's like, where's Tin? He goes, for the last 15 years, he's been siphoning booze out of the booze.
That's why he was so friendly.
Right.
Do you know how they found out?
Yeah.
He was doing such a great. Their clientele started turning far more ethnic than it was in my younger years.
Oh.
And a guy ordered a Hennessy on the rocks, and they came out and they gave him a Hennessy. And he gave it back, and they go, he said this isn't Hennessy, so they pour him another one, and then he walks out, and he goes, and she was like, I saw him pour it from the bottle. He goes, great, it's not Hennessy though. And he comes out and he puts it down. He goes, I drink it. I'm telling you, that's not Hennessy. And then he goes, sure, we'll pour you another one out of the bottle. And they did. And then he went across the street to the liquor store and came back, bought a fifth or whatever. And he poured it in a glass next to it. And it was that. And they found out that guy was going and taking little bits to give to his family's restaurant.
Oh, my God.
And he would fill everything with just rum and just put it back, and no one really checked.
Wow.
Years.
I guess if you're already drunk at a comedy club, you're not expecting like a state-of-the-art cocktail to begin with,
Right.
It's that, but if you're doing if you're
going
doing
straight
like
up,
a sipping kind of thing,
liqueur.
you assume no one's going to care because you're like, rum and coke anyway, or Jack and Coke, and like as long as there's booze in it, who gives a shit really?
Jeez, gin and tonic. That's crazy. But I forgot what I was gonna say. You threw me off with tin.
Sorry,
Tin. Oh, Steve Byrne. Oh, sorry. Now I can't stop thinking about Seinfeld saying, "What's the deal with women? It's a body part and a bitch." All right. That's crazy. Boy, comedy feels like it was way more lawless, 15 years ago. It was like fighty and, people stealing.
I think camera phones are a big part of that.
Yeah, sorry,
I think
Kramer.
Being able to document shit changed a lot of shady business.
I think so, too.
It also seems though to encourage like people though with the filming to like
That's
let's make
true,
a
too.
moment.
Of course.
True.
It's definitely that.